Are you having your supper, mate? What are you doing? Oh, what are you squeaking for, little trickle? Fun little dog. Fun little dog. So hello. So I'd like to take a look at these, which I think are wonderful. What they are is they're salt and pepper. That salt. Can you believe it? Yeah, I see we've got the bung in it. Can you? What are you talking about, though, Chuckle Pug? Hey, what are you talking about, little watty? And that's pepper. Sorry about the noise in the background. That's the old YouTube playing away. Anyway, it's all good, baby. Oh, he's off. He's off onto the lunch. He's having lunch. Well, it's supper now. So, hang on a minute. I best turn this noise down, hadn't I? Because is it competing with my voice? I don't know. Not much competes with my old nephew voice. So I'll leave it on. So that's pepper. So what this is known as is it? No. She's really loud, isn't she? She's really loud. Gosh, you're loud, that young woman. Oh my God, you're loud. You? Oh, it's Erin. I love Erin. I want to marry Erin.
On those crucial front lines in the south along Zaporizhzhia. It's hard to overstate how significant this development is.
She's absolutely gorgeous. I love her. Erin. Unfortunately she's married and she's got kids as well. So I've got no chance. But I love her to bits. She's one of the best CNN broadcasters that I watch all the time. So anyway, back to the score. This is what was known as a 50s splitty Type 2. So you've got, the reason why it's called a splitty is because the screen was split into two windows, okay? I had one in that colour. I had one just the same, a real one. You know, I used to ride it around, didn't it? And well, they were lovely. They had like barn doors, they were called. The later ones had sliding doors, right? So it was a slider. But this one had barn doors, so one to two, and it's just awesome. It had like a sort of early fridge unit in it, which was like a box full of lime. And it had a sort of scuttle shuffle bed. I used to surf, right? I used to go surfing all the time. And basically I used these sorts of what we call buses as hotels, you know, rooms to sleep in, sort of thing. and it had a hatchback. It did have a lift up back. I remember that much. That wasn't split barn doors. No, that did actually have a hatchback lift up. And so what you had in there was a cooker. There was no toilet, mind you, in this split bus. No way. There was a sort of sink type thing, which wasn't that effective really. It was before the bay window versions. The bay window campers, VW campers, had like a one-piece of glass across the front. He's off, innit? It's off. It's noshing. It's noshy it is now. Look at that. But yeah, the bay window campers had one piece of glass, and they also had like larger side windows. Ah, yeah, okay. Type 2 splitty. Struggling to remember, but there was Samba. I think it was called a Samba. Sorry, my brain is dead. I think it was called a VW Samba, and that had slightly different. Hello, mate. All right, cocker. Right, cranky in there, old son. The Samba had slightly different windows. It had a sort of lower window and an upper window, like in the roof element area. And of course there were, I think I'm right in saying there were versions of this bus that had a lift roof. I don't know, maybe I'm lying. There's certainly the bay window ones did have that. The Westphalias had a sort of lift up roof that used to lift up so you could get up upstairs so it would sleep 4. Because this was more of a sleeping 2 type 2. If you know what I mean by that. But I love the old splitties. What are you doing though? It's knocking it out, isn't it? It's knocking out the food, it is. It's knocking it down. So it's rattling its cage, it is, the little sausage. But no, I used to love these old buses. However, having said that, they were very daft to drive. They had a what was it called? I don't remember. But they had a very strange worm drive steering box for one, and then they had a sort of a thing that had to be cooled at the back for the differential. It was very oddball. It was very, very naff as well, because often it used to seize up and you'd end up going on your holiday surfing and you'd have to stop off somewhere to get the blinking drive sorted out. There were like these huge gears, okay? There were like these huge metal gears that used to drive the back wheels. Very bizarre. I can't remember what it's called now. My mind is just going dead. But very, very inefficient. And you can vaguely see that they've, in the pottery, kind of put those cooling vents. There were cooling vents here. They were like vents to cool those worm gear. Well, they were like big cogs, you know, to cool the drive, as it were. Very strange van. And also, when you drove it, so you're sitting in it, right? So on the right, obviously in England, or on the left in everywhere else, and apart from Australia, of course. But the steering wheel was about here, so you're sat there, and the steering wheel's about there. So you had to kind of twist your back. So it really hurt to drive, and often, obviously being a surfer, when you're using your back a lot, you'd end up with back pain driving this down thing, innit? So the Type 2 Splitty was probably the most painful vehicle I've ever driven, even though it was lovely to be a part of. And the bay window one was awesome, because obviously that was another generation, although it was air cooled. Oh, by the way, all of these trucks and these buses were rear engine. The engine was up back. It was up the back, innit? And as was actually the Volkswagen, what they call in Poland the Garbus, the Beetle. They've got multiple names. My mum owned one of them in Cliff Green. It was Cliff Green. Shout out to Sharon. You know what I'm talking about, sweetheart, when I say Cliff. But yeah, it was called Cliff Green, the colour, and yeah, it was a nice car. It was my mum's was a 1303S, so it had a sort of, again, dropped it. It had a round screen, because the earlier Volkswagen Beetles had a flat window. What are you talking about though, Chuckle? Come here, you. Come here, monkey. So funky's chunk. So funky's monkeys. It is. The earlier ones had a flat screen like this one has. But then they did the 1303S. My mum's was from 1970. Five, if my memory serves me. And it had a rounded screen. It was the S variant. And it had bigger backlights. So like this one has, actually. So this is this is actually one of the what do they call it when it's something's wrong? Anyway, it doesn't matter, because my brain will never remember all these words that I can't remember. But ultimately, no, maybe it has got a, no, it hasn't. It's got a flat screen, but it's got the big tail lights, so it's wrong. It's when something's not in the right time. When something is there, it's not in the right time. Like we're in 1935, And yet there's a chicken looking at me. I don't remember. I'm sorry. My brain's going dumb. But no, that's so. Anyway, all they are is salt and pepper. My little collection, because I used to like surfing and Oh, I wish I could remember things. Do you know? I must say I'm losing it now. It's getting worse. I take this drug called Aricept to remember stuff, and yet I can't. It doesn't seem to be working as well as it used to, and I'm afraid to take more. An anachronism. It's an anachronism. That's the word. Bingo! It's when something is wrong. It's an anachronism, I think. So that's an anachronism. The flat screen shouldn't be, because it has the big tail lights. It should be a curved screen, because that's what the 1303S had with those sorts of tail lights. The earlier versions had smaller tail lights, you see. So that is an anachronism. Like I am. I'm an anachronism. Why am I here? I shouldn't belong, should I? Let's face it. Let's have a loaf. Let's have a What am I on about? No one knows. It's all rubbish, isn't it? Anyway, thanks ever so much for watching. If you've got this far, bingo. And I'll leave you on the handsome one, because he is lovely. He's having another go at the food bowl. No, he's no rejection. Reject. Thanks ever so much. Cheers, guys and girls. I really appreciate you watching.